Sam Goodman versus Miguel Flores, 12 rounds in the featherweight division, 126 pounds. This is on the undercard of Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza. I think this is also Goodman's first fight in this division. I know he's been fighting at 122. This is at 126. Will it be different? How will he fare? Let's get into it. Let's start with Sam Goodman. 15 wins, 0 losses, 7 wins by way of knockout. Goodman has had a great year already. A very nice win against TJ Dehaney, who was a former champion back in 2019. The thing with beating a champion in any level, in any sport, no matter what their age are, especially individually, when you beat them, it just feels good. Like psychologically, it just feels good. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you can compete with the best of the best. It just makes you feel good inside, and it builds that level of confidence that you need as you continue fighting. So you know that was a very good win for Sam Goodman because he dominated that fight, right? And that's the type of momentum you want as you go into these bigger fights, brought the confidence up. And that's exactly what Sam Goodman took into his next fight when he fought Reyes Akeem. Now, to that point, Goodman had 14 wins, 7 wins by way of knockout. He was batting a 50% knockout ratio, and I did not think he was going to be able to keep up with the speed, the pace, and that pressure of Akeem. I was surprised. Akeem is known to be a physical fighter, right? Guy who wears you down round to round. You know how skillful that he is. You know, he's got good power in the shots. I mean, we saw how he dominated Mike Planella in the fight before. Right? He was going to the body early, doing his thing. And I'm like, man, you know, at this rate, it just kind of seems like he's going to wear Goodman down. Right. And it was a fight that kind of had two tails to it. Right. At the beginning, we're talking about rounds 1 to 5. It seemed like Reyes Akeem was going to be the one who was controlling the pace of this fight. The speed was starting to show, right? The skill was starting to show. He was jabbing, mixing up his attacks, doing different things to seize control of the fight. Akeem is also the more athletic and more naturally explosive guy. So when you're watching the early part of the fight, you're like, man, this could be a long night for Sam Goodman. But then something happened. There was a shift in the fight that started to happen starting from round 6 or 7, right? And you could see Goodman was the one pushing Akeem back, catching him with quick shots, snappy shots, right hand, working the jab and hooks to the head, and didn't neglect any part of the body. He was the one that was starting to be the aggressor. He was the one starting to push Akeem back off of the back foot and making him retreat a little bit. And Akeem, for whatever reason, couldn't get his flow back, couldn't get his rhythm back into the fight. And I think he got a little bit too, I'm not going to use the word desperate. That's not the word. He was trying quickly to get the momentum back and get his flow back. And he became a little bit too swing happy, swinging with wide shots. And Sam Goodman was just slipping, moving a little bit and just coming right down the middle. And more consistently, he was the one landing his shots. And Akeem looked a little bit tired, whereas Goodman, his conditioning is solid. Man, he just kept coming on stronger and stronger and stronger as the fight went on. I thought fundamentally, he was very solid, very sound. He kept things very basic, stuck to his foundation, just kept things right in front of him, jabbing, hooking, straight hand down the middle, 1-2 combination, slip back, get out of harm's way, just calculated pressure. He's a very physical fighter, though, right? So he doesn't mind mixing things up right inside the pocket. And what I noticed about him in that fight too is he makes adjustments very well in real time, and that will always carry a fighter far. So to be honest though, man, I was very, very impressed with his performance in its entirety. I came away in that fight just thinking to myself, yo, I underestimated this guy. Sam Goodman is very solid. He's a very good fighter. His defense can and will improve as he gets a little bit more and focuses on that a little bit more, but he's solid. His conditioning, as I said, is very great. And he's kind of got that underrated explosiveness as well, too. He just knows how to control the range. He's a patient fighter, physically a strong guy with great endurance, man. He's going to pick his spots. He's not going to force and overextend himself if he doesn't need to. I think he's a very nice, balanced fighter, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this weekend, if he's going to continue to build on that, if he's going to campaign at this new division. So going to be very interesting, man. I came away from his fight against Riaz Aleem thinking to myself personally, you know what? I got to pay more attention to this guy. And I think we all should keep Sam Goodman in the back of our minds. If he can get past Miguel Flores this weekend and doing it in convincing and dominant fashion. He does have the skill to do that, but can he do it? We'll see on that night. Let's talk about his opponent, Miguel Flores. 23 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 12 wins by way of knockout. This is Flores' first fight this year. He had 2 losses in 2017 to Dat Nguyen and Chris Alvarez. His next loss came from Leo Santa Cruz. He fought in 2019, and in 2020, he fought Eduardo Ramirez. Of those 4 losses, he's been stopped 3 times by way of knockout, technical knockout. Even though he's been stopped 3 times, there is a determination and a level of toughness and grit about Flores. And I think in order to understand him a little bit more, we got to go back a little bit, man, because some of the stuff that I was reading about him really touched me personally. But we get to see how this determination and that grit was formed inside of the ring, if we can understand what took place outside of the ring real quick. As I said, I was reading about his story. He grew up in the gym watching his brother boxing and fighting, and he idolized him, right? He saw the level of respect that the fighters had for his brother and how they would talk about his brother and all the good things that they would say about his brother. So as most little brothers want to do, they want to be like their bigger brother. So he started to take up the gloves and started to get into the boxing ring. We know that boxing is an oxymoron, right? On one hand, it's a beautiful sport to watch when you get to the sweet science of it, when you see how guys position themselves to get their shots off, when you see that defense, when you see all of the aspects of what makes the sport great. It's beautiful in one lens, but you can't ignore the reality. In the other hand, it is a dangerous sport. Flores' brother passed away from brain injuries that happened inside of the ring. And in 2009, he passed away. I read that 101 days after his brother passed away, Flores turned professional and he stopped his first opponent within the first round and dedicated that to this brother. That is someone who's fighting with the purpose behind it. And he brings that same level of determination and heart and will inside of the ring. He's got a lot of heart, and it shows every time that he fights. In his last fight, he fought Abner Mares, the 3-division champion. Abner was coming off a 4-year layoff. I don't care who you are, how good you were. Coming off a 4-year layoff is not an easy thing to do because it showed. A prime Abner Mares, man, you know, he handles Flores with ease, in my opinion. Maybe even stops him. But when the fight started, he was doing very well early in the fight. The overhand right could not miss. There was a time where Abner just shot that overhand right like 3 times back to back to back to back. And every time it connected and looked like a bigger, imposing shot each and every single time. It couldn't miss. And Abner had him hurt in the second round of that fight. But Flores ate the shot, took it on the chin, didn't back down, and just kept coming forward and was able to survive the round. In that fight, man, I thought Flores offensively was solid throughout the fight with good body work, good headshots, connected with jabs, straight hand, and hooks to the body, overhand shots. And as the fight went on, the stronger Flores started to come on because it was the more tired that Abner started to be. Flores, to me, gained confidence as the fight went on. Flores isn't going to stop coming forward. He's a pressure fighter, right? He's going to keep coming forward. He's going to engage. He's going to let his hands go when it is in close, right? And this is a guy who you're going to have to put him down. Like I said, he's not going to stop coming forward. He saw that Abner was getting tired and he took advantage of that. And his shot started to load up more with more power and consistently started to get through. the more the fight goes on, I think the stronger Flores will be against Sam Goodman because his conditioning is good and he's effective in his spots. He's not a crazy athletic guy with all these different bags of tricks, but what he is good at, he makes sure he doubles down on that, and that's good technical pressure boxing. You can't keep your hands down against Flores because he's going to have the physical advantage in this one and the height advantage, and he knows how to loop his shots in pretty good to the point where he is effective when he does throw it. Now against Mares, he ended up fighting to a draw. I thought it was a fair judging and a fair outcome. Right. He also fought Mares at 135. So this is a guy who jumps from different weight classes. Of his 4 losses, he's only lost 2 of those fights at this weight. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's going to be a physical fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this fight does unfold. I think this is an underrated fight on the card. So who wins? I like Sam Goodman to win this fight by decision. Goodman's speed and accuracy, I think, will be the thing that slows down Flores. Flores is going to bring the pressure and be in Sam Goodman's face. Goodman is a physical fighter as well. His guy can be physical. We saw what he did against Riyaz Aleem in the second half of that fight. He was the one pressing back a physical fighter in Aleem, and I think that will play a factor in this fight. I also don't think Goodman should overlook Flores by no means. Don't let these 4 losses fool you, man. This guy can fight. He's got a lot of heart, and sometimes when the skill is not there, the heart and the will help him carry it through, even if the skill is not equal. I do think Sam Goodman is an all-around better complete fighter, but you still cannot take Flores lightly because his conditioning is very well. Both of these men have good conditioning. So I think it's going to be a physical fight. I don't think it's going to be as easy as many might think. I think it's going to be a tough, grueling fight, but I do see Sam Goodman getting the decision win unanimously in this fight. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you're enjoying the content, enjoying the videos, getting something from it, then I hope that you consider becoming a member. We got 2 tiers. Both of them have different things. You can check that out in the description below. If you would like to support the channel by way of donation, you can find options in the description below as well. Cash App handle, PayPal will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. I don't take anything that you guys do out of the generosity of your heart for granted. I truly appreciate it. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and I'll definitely see you next time.